hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Talk Supt. I'm Dr. Avis Williams, the proud superintendent for NOLA Public Schools, and here today with Courtney Washington, our Chief Communications Officer. Hey, C-Dub, how you doing?
Hey, Doc, I'm doing great. Hello, NOLA PS community. It's so great to be here with you guys again this week for another episode of Talk Supt.
Yay! So what do we have on tap with our amazing guests today?
Today we have two extraordinary women that work with NOLA PS, and so I won't get too deep in it because I want them to introduce themselves and tell a little bit more about it. But I'm so excited to have them join us today and to, just to share a little bit more about their roles within the district and to share why they do what they do, because that really, really matters. And so I'll pitch it over to Ms. Buckner first.
Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Aisha Buckner. I'm the Homeless Liaison, Foster Care POC, and Family Engagement Specialist for the district. This year made my 30th year. I didn't think I would make it, but I made it. I made it. And I service the homeless populations in the schools in Orleans Parish. Yeah. And I also am on the state advisory board. So if Jefferson Parish or St. Bernard Parish have any issues, they bring them to me. I try to resolve them. Then I push them up to the state if I can't resolve it.
Gotcha. Wow. Awesome.
Yeah. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to one of the most important topics in education. My name is Kathy Tony Chase, and I have the sincere pleasure and joy of serving as the Director of Parent and Family Engagement. And my responsibility is to serve, to listen intently, to assist and support parents and families in the educational process. The why do I do this? People always ask, because I'm listening to parent concerns, complaints daily. But the why, they say that it's not a job when you're doing and carrying out your passion. So I find joy in assisting and supporting families because of the positive outcomes of engaged parents. It's so very meaningful, powerful, and rewarding. And you may ask, what are those outcomes? Some of the outcomes that I see are increased support for children's learning at home, because that is an extension of school, empowering our parents to feel as parent leaders, and just increasing the overall well-being of families, and increasing the relationships or building relationships with school administration staff so that they can understand family and community.
Oh, that is awesome. We often say that, our families are the first teachers. And that's why I think it's so important that we have our team members who are serving in the roles that you all are serving in. So I definitely applaud you for the work that you're doing to engage our families. And Ms. Buckner, I know we have families who go through a lot, trauma and different trials and tribulations. And sometimes it leads to homelessness. So can you share a little bit about your why in terms of digging into the work that you do?
Okay. My why, I was pushed into this job. I always did do homeless. I started off as a classroom teacher, educator.
Okay.
I was the homeless person in my school. I worked in the shelters after school. I did the summer program. After Katrina, the director didn't want to work for the district. She went to work for the city.
Okay.
And she called me like 4 or 5 times to interview for the job. I refused because I had gotten fired. I'd never been fired before in my life. So I was in my feelings, very much in my feelings.
Yes.
So I didn't want to come back to the district. So I received a phone call from my mother, and she said, Sabrina says you're not interviewing for that job, interview for the job. So once my mother got involved, I had to interview for the job. And I took the job, and it was the best decision I think I've ever made.
Wow.
And in talking to my mentor, which was Sabrina Mays, I asked her why was she so persistent for me to do this job, to take her job, to have her job, to become Sabrina. Because when I started working, I would tell them I'm the new Sabrina, because they knew Sabrina did homeless. So I was just I'm the new Sabrina.
Right.
And she told me, she said, Aisha, she said, I trust nobody but you, because I know you're not going to take any wooden nickels.
I love it.
And so when she told me that, she saw it in me. I guess I was trying to hide from it or resist it, but she saw I had the passion to do the job. It's not an easy job. It's not an easy job. Some weeks are worse than others, but then every now and then I will have a bright spot in it. And I like my job because I'm actually dealing with the families. I'm not just sitting behind the desk. I get to go into the schools. I get to go into the community. I get to, the shelters. And with my job, NOLA Public Schools is the only school organization that is a member of Unity of Greater New Orleans. We are the only ones.
Wow.
And I also serve on a couple of their committees for Unity to let them remember that when they're talking about homelessness, that they do have families. So I'm on a lot of the different of their boards just to be that representation for our families and our children. And like I said, this is a difficult job, and especially right now, it's cold right now. And when you see children on the streets with no jackets, if a child doesn't have a jacket on, that means what? They don't have one.
Yeah.
So this job can tear at you a lot, but it also is very rewarding to see, to see parents come back and, have done so much better. I got a call this week. I had a family in here in August. He called me Monday and said, we got housed. And so, those little highlights make me feel good, and this month is National Homeless Awareness Month and Runaway Month. And so for the month of November, I started disseminating McKinney-Vento literature because that is what I work under, the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act. That's the educational part of homelessness. I disseminated new literature to the libraries, to the recreational centers, to the shelters, to the schools, so they can update them and put them up so parents can see, because it may not be a parent who reads the poster who's homeless, but they may have somebody on their sofa, sleeping on their sofa, that may be homeless. And sometimes our parents are very prideful, and pride is a sin. They may not want to tell anybody, but if they see there's help being advertised, they may reach out to someone. So I started November by disseminating posters out to agencies, like I said, the library, rec centers, different places like that in the schools. On November the 1st through the 18th, I collaborated with Suno's School of Social Work to do a food drive, because I do have a mini food pantry over here. It's a small food pantry, but I do have one. November the 17th is the Sleep Out at Covenant House. And I sleep out every year. And this year's going to be cold and it may rain. But my goal was to raise $6,000. I am $287 away from that goal. So if anybody wants to donate,
you haven't picked up my donation.
My 6,000.
Count me in.
Okay. Okay. And to work with the parent engagement piece, because I do work with my families that are in the shelters. I'm going to have a family camp. It's going to be on Saturdays. It's going to be for 6 weeks. And it's a 3-hour, each Saturday's gonna be 3 hours. The first hour, I did a training with Louisiana Public Broadcasting, Ready to Learn workshop. So I'll do an hour and a half of that with the entire family. It can be who's ever in the shelter with them. It could be mom, dad, older sisters, whoever's in the shelter. And then that's for an hour and a half. Then for about 45 minutes, we remove the kids from the parents, and the kids are going to do an activity, and the parents are going to get some kind of training, either life skill or parenting training with Urban League of Louisiana. And then my third piece will be a mental health piece for everybody involved. So the kids will come back, and we'll have the whole family unit, and they have a mental health piece. They also will receive breakfast and lunch.
Wow.
And I'm trying, and in December, I know it's a little early, but I'm going to do
Not really.
Right. Too late to let them know.
Right. I do. I'm doing Toys for Tots this year.
Gotcha.
So I plan to have it at Mahalia Jackson. And I also do Adopt a Family for the holidays, Dr. Lewis. I know you knew. I'm Dr. Williams, I'm sorry, Dr. Williams. And that when
Dr. Lewis, though.
we ask each department to donate to adopt a family for the holidays.
Okay, awesome.
So that's coming up, and I'm going to do Toys for Tots. And I'm going to need Kathy Tony Chase assistance with that, with those school bags that we have. I was thinking that when they get their toy, they could get a school bag and be ready for when school starts in January.
Get y'all partnering right here.
Right. So, and I plan to have Santa Claus, a brass band, and hot chocolate and donuts.
Okay, well, that sounds amazing. I love to hear the things that we're doing to engage and to connect with our families, and especially the fact that we're meeting them where they are. Knowing that we've got families who are being challenged and living in trauma. And I'm glad you pointed out with the weather changing. Certainly the sense of urgency to support our families is even higher with the holidays coming and with the weather changing. So Kathy, talk to us a bit more about some of the things that you do, and with this month being about engaging our families, what does that look like in your work during the course of a week?
In the course of the week, my main goal is to help to assist and support parents in navigating the school system.
Gotcha.
We're a unique school system, and they contact the central office for so many different concerns that they may have that have reached to complaint level, that have reached to, I don't know what else to do.
Absolutely.
So my goal each day is for them to have someone to listen and to help them navigate what are the next steps.
Yep.
Because they feel that they're helpless because sometimes of the barriers, and some of the barriers are lack of parent education, cultural or socioeconomic differences. We have language differences. We have parent attitudes toward the school, staff attitude toward parents. They have concerns about safety. They're helping them to be knowledgeable of school policies and procedures, lack of knowledge or skills. And sometimes the families just feel undervalued or unwelcome. So that's where I come in, to listen without being judgmental, to put myself in their shoes, to guide them where they should go so that they're not feeling helpless. But when I hang up, I want them to feel a little bit more empowered, so that they can become a parent leader. So I am trying to merge them with the proper personnel at the school that can provide the assistance that they need. And I always tell them, if it's not resolved at that level, to call me back. And one of the parents said, "We have your number on the bathroom wall." So I'm like, is that a good thing or is that not a good thing? But I know what she meant.
Absolutely.
So I'm on speed dial with them for whatever the school-based concern may be. And if it's a concern outside of school-based, then it goes to one of the directors of accountability for special education, for safety, and for medical. But I try to resolve it, get them to the proper person, and ensure them that we are responsible for their child once he or she arrives at school, academically, socially, emotionally, psychologically, the child's entire well-being. So a lot of times they just need someone to listen to, and like, I'm at my wit's end. So it's a calming sense of, we're going to get this done, because that could be Kathy Tony Chase's child. So I'm going to go all the way for whatever it takes to ensure that that parent, that family, that SPED family, that those ESL learners are serviced to the utmost, as our vision and mission says.
I love it. I love it. So one thing I want to make sure of before we close in a little bit is that we've got good contact information, so families know how to reach you. And then Ms. Buckner, with the information that you share, we want to make sure that we know how to participate in the activities and how to donate to support the fundraising that you're doing. So let's make sure that we end up sharing that information with our families, because it's important. And you all know that our core work is about teaching and learning. We're here to make sure that our babies are able to improve their outcomes as well as their families' outcomes through a high quality education, but they cannot do it if they're not safe and if they're not well. And I think the thing I appreciate most about what you guys do is supporting our families and our scholars to ensure that they can be healthy and well. so that learning can take place. So thank you both so much for your contributions, for talking to us and sharing with us about it, but just honestly for what you do on a daily basis. We are so grateful to have you guys as part of Team NOLA PS. And I'm grateful that our families have such amazing resources to support them, through the good times, but certainly to help them navigate when things aren't so great. So thank you both.
Yep. And I mirror the same thing. I wanted to say it. Thank you guys so much for your, Dr. said, your excellence, but also for your joy in your work, because that matters with all that we do, that you care about the work that you're doing and the impact that it has with our families and our scholars and our overall community. So kudos to the both of you. Thank you for your work. And that's all I have.
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you for the opportunity. And it takes a village.
It does.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being so core and key to our village. We appreciate it. So Courtney, last week we talked about our word on the street was, just people wondering where are the test scores. And so guess what happened this week? Yeah, we got test scores. And so we did have a press conference this week where I shared information. And I don't have anything for word on the street, but I just wanted to say before rumors start flying or questions start asking, ask us about it if you've got some specific questions. Once you see the data, look at it for your child's school and look at for the entire district. Look at our scores, and you'll see that we've made some improvements across the board, but we also have a lot of work to do. Right. And we own the fact that we know that we've got to continue to work and to dig even deeper, and especially in terms of literacy. We know that we've got to make sure that our babies are reading at or above grade level, and that we're supporting our teachers to be able to dig into the science of reading work that they're doing. And so I'm excited to be able to share as we move forward some of the steps that we'll be taking around supporting our teachers with literacy, but also the other pieces like NOLA Cares. We're going to look at mental health and wellness, because as I said earlier, if people aren't healthy and well, learning is not going to be top of mind. And that's just the reality of it. And so we know that the last 3 years have been challenging, even beyond the pandemic, with Hurricane Ida happening a little over a year ago. And the learning disruptions that our scholars experienced cannot be ignored. And when I think about the perseverance and the stamina that our scholars, as well as our teachers and leaders, have shown, it inspires me. And, it gives me even more clarity on my why. It's in terms of why I want to be here and help lead this work and making sure that we're improving outcomes for our babies. So I'm saying all of that to say the test scores are out, and, we will, of course, continue to share information, not only about the status, but also the work that we're doing to ensure that we're moving forward in a positive way. So kudos to our school leaders who joined me at the press conference this week. I really appreciate them for the leadership that they've provided. Yep. And absolutely kudos to our teachers and staff for the work that they've done to get us to this point, and that they'll continue to do, as we know we need to continue to stay the course and make improvements so that our babies can have every opportunity possible for success.
Yes. And if you didn't get a chance to catch the live of the press conference this week, please tune into our YouTube channel, or you can watch a recap on our socials. That's either Facebook or Instagram, but it is there for you to view. And Dr. Williams does go in depth with the results from our score. So you'll have just a little bit more information there as well. Thank you. And then again, for anything that you want us to address for the Word on the Street segment, please email communications@nolapublicschools.com. Again, that's communications@nolapublicschools.com. Just ask us the question and allow us to address it here. So,
so next week is Thanksgiving.
It is. Can I be excited?
Yes.
It's my birthday.
It's one of my, it's your birthday. Yay.
November 25th.
Happy
Well,
early
happy early birthday.
Yay.
I'm the 28th.
Oh,
Yes.
happy birthday to you both. And thank you for spending your birthday pre-week or so with us.
We're committed. We're committed to the
I
charter.
love it. I love it. So I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, a happy and safe and healthy Thanksgiving holiday, and hope you find some joy and some peace during that time. And just know that I am so grateful to be a part of the NOLA PS family and the Orleans community. Is a blessing, and I do not take it for granted. Super, super grateful.
Yep. Well, team and NOLA PS community, thank you guys so much again for tuning in to Talk Supt, and enjoy your Thanksgiving break. We will see you after the break.
See you in a couple of weeks.